hello, everyone, and welcome to this special emergency edition of Mad Hatters. I know we normally don't record at this time. We do one episode every 2 weeks. This is going to be a shorter episode. There's not going to be any,
anything funny.
There's not going to be any, ad. This podcast was actually brought to you ad free today by and we're not going to have any song IDs or anything like that. We're not going to be pulling topics out of the Mad Hat. This is just a very important. We have a breaking news here. This is a developing story, so please bear with us.
This breaking news from 2004.
No.
19 years ago.
No. This is breaking news right now because... let's give the background here is that this is actually a reference to our first episode 2, in which towards the end of the...
that's our second episode.
No, it's called episode 2, but it's our first episode.
No. There is a secret first episode.
Yeah, but you even put on the website that this is the first episode. That's what it's known as.
That's right. But just letting the people who are listening to this
that's why it's called episode 2.
They're like our devoted listeners. So they'll want to know all these little trivia bits and secrets.
Right. Well, they should know that if they watch that episode. We already explained
this. If you put the right cheat code into the website, you actually get to listen to it.
Yeah, it's AB, up, down, AB. I don't know.
No. Oh my gosh. You just lost your Konami Contra creds. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's BA, right? Is how it starts. I just used Game Genie. I don't remember the damn...
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Yes, I did.
Well, no, so listen. So in that episode, towards the end, you mentioned this Evo fight, which was the Justin Wong and Diago... whatever his last name is, Umehara.
Yeah,
Diago, the Beast Umehara fight. And I said, what are you talking about? You said, you should watch it. We need to do a whole episode about that. And, and then we forgot about it, or I forgot about it. But recently we were updating our show notes for previous episodes. So we have show notes now for the first, 3 episodes.
That's true. On our website, matthatters.com, MATTHATTERS. It's a lovely website.
Yeah.
Using the most modern web techniques and designs from yours truly, Matt.
And so and we have the link to this video on there, don't we? And
we do.
We'll put it on this one too. We'll put it on this page too. But so you uploaded that video. You showed me that video, and so I, for the first time in my life, saw this 17-year-old fight.
Yes.
And so that's the breaking story, is that this is totally unprecedented.
So I want to hear about your reactions to it in a moment, but I'll set up the background. So if you don't know, there is a game called Street Fighter, and there are many such fighting games, but Street Fighter is one of them. It's very popular. There's been many in the series. I think the first Street Fighter was out in the 80s, I'd guess, or early 90s, and there's been many versions of it since then. Yeah, I think they're up to 5 now. In Street Fighter, it's a fighting game. There's 2 people playing against one another typically, and you control characters who are punching and kicking each other and blocking and whatever else. And your goal is to knock the other person out, like you're in doing some kind of martial art. And the games are usually they're called very technical games because they require very precise and complex inputs from the part of the player to be able to perform the super cool moves that you need to be able to defeat your opponent. So, so the people who are very good at this are amazing to watch because of their command of their character, their command of the controllers, and as many sort of sport-like things. Is this a sport? Maybe we should talk about that. Oh, anyway, so
we don't have time. I've done more thinking about sports, and I'm a mess. There's no hope for me now. So I've overanalyzed the whole thing.
So there are many. So of course they become competitions where like the best people. There's some guy at the local arcade back in the day who was like, "I'm the best at Street Fighter 2, and I can beat anyone at this arcade." And then those people started forming their own little clubs, and then that became bigger and bigger. And then it became an incentive for the companies that make these games to create competitive circuits. So where the best players could win money, and then people could watch them and think, oh, I want to be like Justin Wong or Diago or whatever, and play this game and be really good at it, and that makes their game really popular. So these games started being sponsored by companies. So Street Fighter is made by Capcom, and we're going to talk today about this event that happened in 2004 on a match, just one match, the semifinal match. Yes. On a game called Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Yeah, and this is known as Evo Moment 37. So it was at the Evo
Evolution Championship Series 2004.
Yeah. And so this was the first time these two people had played each other in this game.
Yes, that's right.
So I did a little bit of reading on it, and so my so this basically culminated in this incredible moment at the end of this fight, which we'll get to. And my initial reaction to it was like whoa, like that's amazing. But I didn't fully understand what I was looking at. And the thing is, so my background is that I have played Street Fighter 2. Actually, specifically, mostly with Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Street Fighter Super Street Fighter 2 for Super NES, and that's one of my favorite games. I'm actually quite good at that game. It's like one of the games I'm best at.
Yes, we used to play when I'd go over to your house, and you would beat me all the time, every time.
I'm sure I'm not at like competition level, but I can comfortably say I'm very good at it. Like I only ever play it on like the full 8-star difficulty because everything else is boring. So I'm very, very well aware of, very familiar with like Street Fighter in general, but Street Fighter 2, well, there is this thing, there's this particular move that they added in Street Fighter 3, which I didn't know about because I hadn't played Street Fighter 3. And it was called the parry. And so this Evo Moment number 37 is also known as the Diago parry. Because what happens is, so basically in Street Fighter, you're punching and kicking and jumping and punching and kicking and stuff, and you also have like special attacks that kind of take longer to execute, are more difficult to execute, but they're very powerful and they usually
do more damage.
Do like multiple hits.
Yes.
And one thing you can do in the game is block. And this was true in Street Fighter 2. If you push back away from your opponent, you will block.
Which prevents the damage from landing, from actually hurting you.
Right. So when their leg connects with you or whatever, you just hear like a thud and you freeze, and they don't hurt you. And actually, you recover from your block quicker than they recover from the move they're executing. So actually, it gives you an advantage to be able to like hit back. So it's like this. That's one of the dynamics of the game. But with a block, if they use a special attack on you, you still take a little bit of damage. Like not much. It's like less than like a light punch or something, but you still take a little bit of damage. And the other thing about the block is like if you just keep holding back, you don't have to keep pushing it every time they punch you. Like they can keep punching you as long as you're holding back, you won't get hurt. I mean, you have to, they can sweep kick you, so you have to block down versus block up. There's still like stuff you have to do. But like the block is, an easy thing to do.
Right, and it still does a little bit of damage.
If they use a special attack. If they use a normal attack, it does not use any damage. So, but they added this move in Street Fighter 3 called the parry, which you're actually pushing forward towards your opponent. The parry is more difficult to execute because each time they strike you, you have to, you can't just hold it down and allow it to work. You have to push the button every time that they attack you, and you have to do it at the exact moment that they're hitting you, like within a tenth of a second of their hitting you. You have to push this, and then you'll parry their attack, kind of like a block. But the nice thing about the parry is, again, you recover quicker than they recover from their attack. But also, even special moves will not give you any damage.
Yeah.
And this is important because in this particular fight, so the fight starts out, and I encourage everyone to watch it, I guess, before you listen to talk about it, because it's only 3 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
In a street fight, the thing you'll see in the video is that the match is divided into 3 rounds, and
Right,
characters have a health bar, and as the health bar goes down, once one person loses all their health, they lose the round, and it's best out of 3. So if you win 2 rounds, you win the match.
Right. So there's also a timer, a countdown, and one thing that another way you can win by a technicality is if your opponent has taken more damage than you have, and the clock runs out, you win the round by a technicality.
It's also timed. Yeah, that's right. It's also timed.
So, the fight starts out, and Diago is being more aggressive, and in the first round, and Justin is being very defensive. He's kind of keeping his distance. And
in particular, like Justin Wong pioneered this new style of being extremely defensive with Chun-Li, the character, in order to, and he used it to great effectiveness in this year, like to win a lot of otherwise difficult matches.
That's see, I didn't know that. So that's you.
I'm full of backstory.
Yeah, good. And I heard that even though they hadn't fought each other before, I read that they kind of had some kind of rivalry because they had different like philosophies of how to play the game or something. I don't know. But so you watch it and I don't know. Some people commenting on this have said that like Justin is sort of getting under Daigo's skin by being so defensive and kind of not doing anything, and Daigo's kind of getting angry and maybe making some mistakes. Now the first round actually goes very well for Daigo. Justin's like being very defensive, but he's not. His defenses aren't all that effective. He hasn't like kind of quite gotten his bearings on how to fight Diago yet. So Diago wins the first round fairly quickly. I mean, I think it's like 55 seconds left. And I don't believe these are really seconds. They're like faster than seconds. But
right.
I think Diago gets some hits in, but he loses. So the second round, they start fighting again, and it seems like Justin is. So Justin lost the first round, and so you get a sense that Justin's like, okay, my defenses weren't working as much. I better be a little bit more aggressive, and so he does a lot better job of defending himself in the second round. And at one point, he uses this special attack. I believe it's the same one he uses throughout the match. Where Chun-Li basically kind of charges and does this crazy series of up and down kicks. So he's able to knock down a huge amount of Daigo's health with that. Diago gets a bit panicky, it seems like, and a bit hasty and kind of angry and keeps hitting him. And so Justin ends up actually winning that second round pretty well because... Yeah, pretty
decisively, I would say.
Yeah. So now they each have a round under the belt. This is a semifinal, and so the stakes are high. And the third round starts, and you can tell that they're both like being very careful now. They're both kind of like okay, I'm testing the waters. I'm going to inch forward.
Yeah, that's right.
It's this very high stakes thing.
Forward, back. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're both doing fairly well, getting some hits on each other. But again, Justin does that same special attack, and again he beats the shit out of Diago with it.
Yes.
And Diago, like, later on gets a few hits in or whatever, but eventually the match gets to the point where they're both kind of frantically fighting. Diago starts throwing Hadoukens, these fireballs, which he hadn't been doing before. And he's been hurt badly by the same special attack twice.
So I have even more color about this.
Okay.
Because it's even better when you like learn behind this. And I'll put a link in our show notes about someone who knows this game even better in their comments, and I'm citing them here. So basically at this point of the fight, like Justin is winning in terms of health. So if the timer runs out, Justin wins, and Diago doesn't want that. But also Justin's playing very conservatively, very defensively. So if Diago like tries to attack him, then Justin will take advantage of that and probably beat him. So it's like a bad situation in both ways. So Diago is like, how am I going to win? Like, what am I going to do? And he realizes the only way for him to win is to get Justin to go on the offensive, to do something amazing. And he knows that Justin likes to show off these cool moves. But to be able to do the super cool combo moves, you have to build up a meter. You can't just do them all the time. You have to build up a meter. So to build up that meter, Diago starts throwing these Hadoukens, which when they're blocked, build up that meter.
Oh, I didn't know this.
So already like seconds before the actual amazing event, which I'm sure you'll be excited to talk about, like Daigo's already planning in his mind, like I'm going to build up his meter so that Justin uses his meter and so that I can block it. Like uses his super cool and I can block it. Like he's already thinking like very, very far ahead.
So I didn't realize he was planning this in this way. But because basically eventually the match gets to a point where Daigo's life meter is all the way down. Like you can't even see. There's a 1 pixel.
It's to practically zero.
Yeah. So and he's still standing, but it looks like he has no life left.
Yeah.
And Justin's got I don't know, maybe a third left or something of his, maybe a little more. And really, all Justin has to do is run out the clock at this point, and it's getting down to like 20 some seconds. So at the 26 second mark, I guess Justin decides he gets a little overzealous and he says, "No, I want to finish. I don't want to end with as a coward or whatever. I guess." And so he's like, "I'm going to kill him. I'm going to attack. Finish this." So he does this super move, this special attack, and
which is 14 hits.
Yeah,
14
I read
in quick
14 or 15. Yeah, and to his credit, in his defense, it's a pretty it was a pretty low risk thing to do because he knows that it's very difficult to just avoid this move because he charges straight for you. You can't really jump over it, probably. And even one block. And even if you block it, you
still does enough damage to kill him.
It still does enough damage to kill him. Any touch will do enough damage to kill him.
Yeah.
But so he revs up and does this special attack, and Daigo parries, which I guess that I don't know. I was reading that first parry was the trickiest because he almost had to kind of like anticipate when he was going to start the move or something. But I don't know if he knew the move well enough to like know the exact rhythm of like when the hit kicks happen, like the intervals between them. But if you remember, you have to push the parry button within 1/10 of a second of each time the kick lands on you. And he starts parrying, and he's parrying every single one of these kicks. He parries all 14 or 15 kicks in succession. And then I think Justin tries to high kick him again, but Daigo jumps up and kicks him in the air, and then does like a 12-hit combo move that knocks him out. It's like
knocks Justin out, and that's the end.
Yeah, and it's just and then the crowd goes absolutely insane, like absolutely because they start going nuts as soon as the parries start happening. They're like, holy shit. And like you can't believe that it's continuing to happen. So like when I first watched it, I thought it was like an awesome comeback thing anyway, but I didn't understand what he was doing. I thought about it. I was like, what is he doing? Because if he's blocking, he looks like he's blocking it to me just from playing like Super Street Fighter 2. And I'm like, if he's blocking it, he'd be getting injured. He has no life left. And I didn't know about this parry thing, and I didn't know how difficult it is to do like what he did.
Yes.
And yeah, the fun thing about this is, I don't know, they had talked like in interviews since then that like Justin Wong said he thought that moment may have helped save the fighting game community. This is from Wikipedia.
Yes.
I don't know, which is because it was getting less, I guess fighting game kind of tournaments were getting kind of less on the decline or something like that. They were getting less active. And
they're also
this
extremely hostile to newcomers and like the most hostile.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
you know, so it makes sense, right? Like, but yes.
And this was like, this has become this legendary thing that it's funny. It was named whoever like hosted or I don't know who's in charge of doing this, but whoever named it Evo Moment number 37 because they wanted it to make it sound like, you know, the competition was full of these amazing moments when really this was the best one.
Yeah.
Like it should have been named Evo Moment number 1 as in like, you know.
Yeah.
But and this has become this like legendary thing. It's been sort of thought of as the most iconic moment in competitive video gaming. It had a huge impact on the community of fighting tournaments and sort of like revived it.
It's a great video. Like the moment that the crowd realizes that what is happening, like with the successive parries, Daigo's successive parries, the crowd goes nuts. Like just leaps up from their chair, starts screaming at the top of their lungs. The audio is clipping. It's just, you can't hear anything that's going on. You just hear screaming for like the rest of the video. Everyone is very excited.
I didn't realize, you know, because nowadays like these video games, they have these like giant like screens like projected and everything, and the video you actually linked is like a close up. So I thought it was like on a big screen or something, but I saw another video. They're just like watching it on this like little television screen,
That's
and
right.
they're all crowded around in this. They're like in this big room. There's like a couple hundred people, a few hundred people, but I don't know how they're even able all to see it because it's
the halcyon days of 2004.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just like a CRT, like it's just like a tube it's sitting there like on this cart or something. Yeah.
This lovely quote from this thing I'll totally link in the show notes. This explanation by this expert says, a quote from Raul Julia as M. Bison in Street Fighter. He says, "For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday." And below that, there's a quote from Diago Umehara who says, "That's just one of my common techniques, really." which is lovely and well said. And anyway, I'm glad. So you liked it, is what you're saying. You finally watched it and you liked it.
Well, I just thought, you know, you said we should do a whole episode about this. And I was like, well, we can't do a regular episode. We you know, it's about the Mad. We got to pull topics out of the Mad Hat.
That's right.
I was like, so we have to do a special emergency episode.
A special episode of the Mad Hatters. That's
right. So that was my take and our sort of play-by-play of this Daigo parry that was in 2004, that was like, you know, 17 years ago, that I just now saw. And so this is a pretty momentous week for me.
This is a tangent that, you know, we'll probably cut, but I was just talking to my wife about this, about how the fact that, you know, this is something I've known about since like maybe about that time, like maybe in college. And you're only just finding out about it. There's like every day, there are people who are just learning things that have been known to me for decades now. And I find that, and it's either because like they've only just heard about it, or because they're just brand new humans who are just discovering things for the first time anyway. And they're just wandering over to these little corners of the internet or whatever where we're finding these things. And that I find that to be a little bit scary and worrisome, but I also think that that's sort of cool that like there are still people who are learning neat things every day. Like there's one of my favorite comic strips, XKCD, has one about Coke and Mentos, where one of the characters is like, what's the big deal with this Diet Coke and Mentos thing? The other person is like, every year, just based off of the numbers, every day, 30,000 people learn like one of these common facts. And that means that today you're one of those 30,000. Let's go try it out right now. Right? And that's what I feel about this. Like you've just discovered this. I'm so glad you liked it. And I hope everyone listening goes and looks this up because it's so cool to watch. And it is a delight.
Well, they don't have to go and look it up. They just click how we're going to put it in. And you can click right there.
MattHatters.com.
Right there, man.
Go there. Go to the episode and watch the video because it's great.
Yeah. Have you heard of this band, Led Zeppelin? They're really good. I just started listening to them. They're like excellent.
Oh, yeah. That's...
Everyone should check out this band. It's really, really good. I'm so excited about this new discovery of mine of this band called Led Zeppelin.
Speaking of that, I was just playing a new game. It's called Portal.
Duck Hunt.
No, Portal. It's got this like psychotic robot or something. I haven't finished it, but like you're like in some kind of like test chamber and you're doing these puzzles and you're trying to survive and you have this like gravity gun thing, portal gun.
Wow.
I think it's like on the Half-Life. It's like related to Half-Life or something because it's like feels similar, but it's so good. I haven't gotten to the end, but it's just excellent.
Yeah, you that is a good game, but you really should try Pong because that one
Pong. Is it Pong? Pong. No. I remember. I'll just go plug that into my CRT. Into my television set.
Is that like an iPhone?
Yeah, the iPhone CRT. Oh my gosh, it's such a good.
Oh, that sounds like an Onion article right there.
Oh, it's
waiting
so good.
to happen.
The Onion CRT, the iPhone CRT. It's such a good idea. Anyway,
it's only 3 inches thick. Anyway,
thanks for listening, and we'll resume our regular programming immediately after this, which means I don't know. Expect a new episode in a week or two,
next in a couple weeks,
whenever it is. I don't know. Whatever it is. I don't know when you're listening to this, so like I don't even know.
I don't know.
Like, is it a couple weeks from now, or is it a couple weeks from your now? No, don't worry. It's
good. We're putting it up tonight.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. Well, excellent. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.